All right, I believe this is working. I hope I'm talking correctly and like I'm not too loud, too soft. Okay, let's get started. So I'm going to be talking about the PBE changes and what they mean for Riven because I play a lot of Riven. Call me a scumbag, but it's what I do. And I'm going to just go ahead and say that I think this is going to be more of a Season 3 Riven more than a Season 4 and 5 Riven, and I'll tell you what I mean by that. Season 3, Riven had massive AD, massive burst, massive early game, and she kind of just killed you and kills you over and over and over again and snowballed the game. That's what a lot of people liked. I didn't play her that much then, but I knew what she did. And then she got nerfed, a lot of her scaling got changed, and so she became more of a utility-ish. Obviously, she would still like delete people if she snowballed, but she would kind of rush 40% CDR in a lot of cases. And for Box Box, he adapted to this very well. He would always rush 40% CDR with his runes and masteries, plus Ionian boots and Brutalizer. But for someone like Best Driven NA, who usually didn't get boots and usually just built lots and lots and lots of AD, this was harder because, Burna would like to snowball and just kill you over and over again. And with the changes that are currently live, of course, they'll probably get nerfed because the games are really snowbally from what I can tell. But as the changes are live, she is back to that Season 3 state, and there are actually quite a few ways to play her, and I'm sure, to me, the most interesting is the masteries, because you can go several ways. So I'll just clear this page right here, and let's start from the beginning. Is my mic on? Yes, it is. Cool. So the way this works is you have to do one or the other. You can do both, but you can't have, like, 5 points in one and 5 points in the other. So, you could do this. You could have mostly... oh, this isn't CDR anymore, by the way. But you could have mostly Sorcery or mostly Fury. But, I mean, I know Faker does occasionally run Fury on Riven. I'll leave that to Faker. I mean, I've played around with it. It's nice quality of life to have the attack speed because it allows you to Q auto faster. But I'm going to go with Sorcery. Sorcery no longer gives you cooldown reduction, which comes into play later when building her. If you want 40% rush, you can still do it quite easily. In fact, I think it's better with Sorcery giving extra spell damage because, this will affect your even though you're not using AP, it's not increased AP, it's increased spell damage. So you'll be doing more damage with your spells, QWER. Now here we have to make a decision. In the past, you could run both Feast and Double-Edged Sword. If you're not very comfortable in your lane, I would go Feast, but personally, I would probably always take Double-Edged Sword unless I was going against, like, Quinn or something, or Garen, possibly. Here, normally, you would get, your scaling AD and AP. That was pretty common in the Masteries previously. But here's really interesting. You can get Lifesteal and Spell Vamp, which is great on Riven because she builds attack damage. Her passive scales with attack damage, and on top of all of that, she gets Spell Vamp, which is pretty nice in lane. And then here's pretty interesting because both could do well on her. Oppressor, you'll get 2.5% increased damage if they are impaired movement, so that would be her stun. It doesn't say knockup, but a knockup is impaired movement, so I'm going to assume it works. But personally, I like Bounty Hunter because the way I'm going to be building her and the way I think she's going to be done best with that, kill you over and over again, roam snowball build. I think getting Bounty Hunter will just be better just because, 1% increased damage for each unique enemy you kill. That's up to 5% increased damage, not 5% increased scaling or anything, just flat out, Double-Edged Sword is a great mastery. It's been buffed a little bit. That's 3% damage. This will get you 5% damage if you kill everyone at least once. It's pretty good. Here's Magic Penetration. Riven typically does no magic damage unless you're doing something really janky, like Static Shiv or something. So I'm just going to go with the Armor Pen. And then here, you get the, a choice of 3, I think they're called Keystone Masteries now. So with Warlord, or Warlord's Bloodlust, critical strikes will heal 15% of the damage dealt and 20% attack speed. First of all, I would only ever consider this at all because Yomu's Ghostblade would give you crit chance, but that was changed. It doesn't even give you crit chance anymore. So, I mean, if you want to do something like, Infinity Edge Riven, like, go for it, and I guess take this if you want. I'm not going to, because there are a lot of changes that would just not even, like, there are just so many better builds now, but besides Critical Strike Riven, which, I've done before, but, let's not troll. Here's kind of interesting. This is very similar to the Edge system that Riven used to have on the PvE. That got removed. They were just testing it. But basically what this does is the more you're in combat, the more damage you'll get. And, you'll get up to 8 bonus physical damage to your auto attacks. And as far as I know, it's... So, at max, you'll get, like, between 10 and 80. This is cool, except if you're snowballing, I don't think you'll be in combat for 5 seconds. Well, I know I won't be in combat for 5 seconds because, well, you either kill them or you get CC'd and deleted. And in team fights, you're probably going to be waiting till they blow their CC, in which case you can just flash in and just kill them. So I'm going to say nay on this. But it could be good if you're doing something like, if you're experimenting with, like, a bruiser kind of build with, like, Black Cleaver, Sterix Gauge, and, like, all sorts of, like, tanky, the Juggernaut items. Go ahead. This could be useful. It's 80 damage. That'll be really good on Darius, and I think. I don't play a lot of Darius, but I'm going to go with Deathfire Touch. Just flat out, they take 50% of your bonus attack damage, and, well, there's some ability and magic scaling, which we don't really care about. And it's like a burn, which is pretty cool. And then here we have to make a choice. We can go utility, or we can go defensive. Now, this may sound weird for, like, a fighter that doesn't even use a resource, but I'm going to lean toward utility, and I'll show you why. This 3% movement speed out of combat is actually pretty cool because, best driven NA, no boots. And so, like, when you're out of combat, you will have your 350 movement speed, which is quite high. And Riven recently got nerfed to have, like, 340 movement speed base. So this is actually pretty cool because it brings her back to the 350. So here, like, you could take Runic Affinity. I'm just not going to count on, like, consistently killing the jungler. So I'll take Secret Stash. It'll help with her laning. It'll help with her low health regen. And then, basically, Dangerous Game, like, you execute them and you get some health back on killing them. That's been moved to Utility, which is the main reason why I'm taking Utility. Now, there actually are some, later masteries. Oops, that's not it. Don't take mana regen on Riven. There are some later masteries where you could get, like, you get some scaling armor pen, which isn't really good. But now, the thing here is called Intelligence. And you can actually increase your CDR cap to 45%, and this also gives you 5% CDR. So, like, back here, this used to give CDR, now it just gives 2% spell damage. But now you can get your 5% CDR back, and if you want to go... well, actually, the previous build relied on 5% from Ionian Boot to Lucidity. It only gives 10% now, so, like, it's not quite as, copy and paste, Lucidity Boots plus Brutalizer plus cooldown blues. But you can increase the CDR cap, which is interesting. But then you would really lose out on a lot of good stuff from the offensive mastery. Now, I'm not saying this isn't an option. It totally is. Like, I'm pretty sure BoxBox will probably run this, just because, he really likes, like, abusing the shield mechanic and, shielding their CC and damage, and then just fight back between them because, his cooldowns will be up before theirs most of the time. And I'm sure he'll actually do this because, he's done things like Emax and Tank, which, I've experimented with that. It's fun, like, whatever. Like, honestly, in my opinion, I would honestly go Ferocity and Cunning. Now, Ferocity, first and Cunning second. I would say 21-9, but the way Masteries work right now, they don't go 21-9 anymore. So I'll put these back. Oops, don't take Magic Pen. I'll put these back. This could be good. I'm gonna go with Deathfire Touch though. And so this is one way. There we go. This is one way. It's pretty nice. And really, if you want to go in defensive, which is also totally an option, I'm personally going to lead toward cunning, or as it was once called, utility, just because of dangerous game and movement speed. And these are just really good for like assassin-y, snowball-y kind of thing. And if you're snowballing, it won't matter as much how squishy you are. But if we just take a look here, Riven has pretty crap health regen. You can take that here. I wouldn't really take Explorer. I mean, it's good for roaming, but I think that's more of a jungle mastery. Tough Skin, that's been in here forever. And then Runic Armor is what makes this actually pretty viable. Because what it does is that you get an 8% bonus to all healing and Spell Vamp, or not Spell Vamp, all... No, actually, it does include Spell Vamp. It's 8% bonus to all shields and healing. So that's great because, you're already getting quite a bit of, heals from your Bloodthirster, potentially, and Hydra. And plus, you already have built in this. If you take Dorn's Blade or the new starting item, which gives just 5 on hit health, that's pretty cool. Plus, you have a shield that scales with all your AD. So that's an 8% bonus to your already, OP shield, as Reddit likes to call it. I mean, it could be overpowered. I'm not on the balance team. I'm just some dude. So anyway, and then finally, if you want to go 12-0-18, which is 12 defense, 0 utility, 18 offense, you can take Insight. And what's interesting here is that you have 15% reduced cooldown on your summoner spells. And new Ionian Boots of Lucidity will also give you 10% CDR on your summoner spells as well. So you could, do a lot more flash TPs and flash ignites, I believe in the future they are going to nerf the cooldown reduction on teleport. So this might be somewhat necessary if you want to run teleport. But let's just go for the snowball OP build, just because that's what I like doing. Now, if you're, a mechanical god, it might be better to just go that utility 45% CDR Riven. I am not that god. I am in gold. Here's the mastery page I would run. It's what everyone's been doing on Riven for the most part. Just 80 quints, armor seals, 80 reds, 6 flat CDR blues, and 3 scaling. And let's go into the build, because you'll have 10% CDR at level 1, which is plenty, in my opinion. There we go, item sets. So, first, I would rush Hydra. Hydra's been changed just a tad. It's a little bit more expensive. It has a slightly new build path, and Tiamat doesn't have the AoE auto attack. It only has the active, which doesn't affect that much. You're not really trying to split push that much. And then this still has the passive cleave. So, it's pretty good. It's just a little bit more expensive. I like rushing it. Of course, okay, I'll just get on with the build. Next, I go Lucidity Boots. They are 200 gold cheaper, 5% less CDR. That doesn't actually matter in this build, because we'll be getting lots of AD and 40% CDR. We just won't be rushing CDR. So this is cool, and then it reduces summoner spell cooldowns by 10%. Next, I'm going to go with Black Cleaver. Now, Black Cleaver, I don't really know what Riot's doing. I mean, I love the change. Honestly, this is great for Riven. This whole shebang is great for Riven. So, I'll show you. Black Cleaver. Suddenly, massive AD boost. You now get 55 attack damage with your 300 health's been nerfed a little bit. Riven doesn't really need that much health. I mean, it's great. It helps Steric's Gauge if you like building that on her. But the build path is just so much more Riven friendly. If you wanted to, you could even rush this. You can really do anything on Riven. There's so many different ways, but I'm going to get this second after my boots. technically third, but a lot of people don't count boots. Because it'll give you 20% CDR. So this plus your runes plus your boots will get you at the 40% CDR cap, which is really nice. This is more or less like old Black Cleaver because it shreds armor, gives lots of AD, and has like, you know, 1, 2, 3, builds out of 3 long swords. It builds out of a lot of AD, which is really nice on people like Riven. So it's like old Black Cleaver, except better because now you get 10% more CDR. So this is a new item. It's like Brutalizer without the armor pen. I'm gonna show you Youmuu's Ghost Blade and why I don't rush it, or like just why I don't build it, is because Brutalizer has been separated into 2 items. This thing, the Warhammer, and Serrated Dirk. So before, what was really good on Riven about Brutalizer is just that it had CDR, attack damage, armor pen, and it just built out of pure longswords. Like if you want to cheese someone, you start longsword, you back if you buy a Brutalizer, or if you don't have enough, you'll just buy 3 longswords, and you can kill someone if they're pretty squishy. And what was just so nice is just had a really cheap, really easy, really efficient build. And now that it's separated into 2 items, like to get both effects, both the CDR and the armor pen, it's going to cost you like over 2,000 gold. So I wouldn't go for it. But that's not to say Youmuu's isn't good on Riven anymore. In fact, it has a lot more AD. And they got rid of the crit chance. The build path is better. It's just, I think, what we have currently, Lucidity, Hydra, and Black Cleaver, that's better. Now, these are your core items right here. Whatever comes next is up to you. I wouldn't recommend getting Youmuu's because you'd be overcapping on CDR, but you can do that. Now, one final thing I'll note is, if I go back to item sets, Bloodthirster. This is cool. It might not be intentional though, but come on, look. It gives 5 less AD. No one cares. But 20% lifesteal is no longer passive. You can stack this as long as you want. It'd be really cheesy, but I've yet to actually run into a game where I get to try this. Of course, I have like 3 games, but I haven't been able to try this yet. But I would honestly, like, if there are not too many tanky people and I'm snowballing pretty hard, I would just go like 2 Bloodthirsters and the new Last Whisper, or maybe even 3 Bloodthirsters if they're really squishy, because the shred on Black Cleaver is pretty good on its own. So that's how I would build her. There are a couple items that would be pretty good. Let's see. Yeah. So Last Whisper is like changed a little bit. It now builds into other stuff. So it's basically the same thing. 30% bonus armor pen that actually, okay, that's not the same thing. Its build path is different, and instead of 3% total armor penetration, it's bonus armor pen, kind of like Yasuo old passive. It just kills tanks better. And now it builds into something else. This is kind of lame. It's on like, I mean, it could be good against Mundo and possibly Nasus, so there's that. But this is pretty cool, and situationally, the one with grievous wounds would be better against, people who heal a lot. But most people, like most tanks, you would use this one where it gives you your normal armor pen plus extra damage if they have more health than you, and it scales with the more health they have up to a certain cap. That's really cool. But if you can go for it like, you can go for it like right here. I would go, reasonably, like not cheesy, reasonably I would go Bloodthirster, the new Last Whisper, which kills people with more health than you, and probably finish off with like Asterix Gauge or, Guardian Angel, situationally defensive item, or you could just build another Bloodthirster and really cheese and really snowball. So, oops, I probably shouldn't do that. In conclusion, I would say that the new Riven hasn't been changed, but in Season 6, it appears to be more snowbally. That could just be because solo queue isn't balanced really on PvE. There's a lot of good people versus a lot of bad people, but the AD changes are just really nice. I'll just end with a side note. If you feel like this, if you really want to bring back season 3, take Vampirism, take Lifesteal Quints, and take a Dorn's Blade, and you'll start level 1 at 11% lifesteal, which gives you like a crap ton of sustain. That's pretty cool. Personally, I wouldn't go with the new starting item. Let's pull it up here. I'll go here and show you Cole. It doesn't have an icon for some reason. It has an icon in-game. It's a scythe. It's pretty cool. Gives you 580 and plus 3 life on hits, and then it's really gold efficient because it'll give you 300 extra gold. Its passive is basically you get 1 extra gold for killing a minion, and you get 100. Like when you kill 100, you'll get 300 bonus gold, and then the Cole just deactivates. Now, if you add it up, you'll get 400 gold, and it's a 450 item, and it's a good starting item, which is really efficient. So it's cost efficient. I'm personally having more success with Dorn's Blade or starting Longsword, just because, between all the extra damage on the masteries and taking Ignite in lane over Teleport, I'm snowballing pretty hard, and I would say that Dorn's Blade is the better item, but experiment. No one knows what's optimally best at the moment, but hopefully this brings some insight and possibly some ideas about how Riven will be played in the new season. So see ya.